Man, life. It's a beautiful thing, man. My life has been busy lately, and I can't complain. You know, when you get to a point in your life and you just take a second and you just take a step back and you're like, man, I've been doing a lot. I'm kind of tired. But then you take another step back and you're like, excuse me, but all the things that I've been doing are beautiful. Like, are the things that I've always wanted to do. And so it's like you can't even be tired like that or upset about the fact. And so that's where I'm at right now, where I'm realizing even that pause right there is because my brain is taking a little bit of extra time to process because of being tired. But it's all for good reason. Everything that I've done in the last 48 hours has been exactly what I wanted to do in my life for the last couple years. So let's just retract what I've done in the last 48 hours. So yesterday I was on set with New Amsterdam because it's one of the first vodka brands I've ever tasted and first vodka brand that I ever went back to. And shout out to the homie James Preston. Whenever I think of New Amsterdam vodka, the first memory that comes to mind is me and homie JP. Me and this nigga knew each other since we were like 6 years old, bruh. We met in kindergarten. We were the only two black kids in our grade. Now this was, our classes was like, I don't know, I was number, you used to do class numbers and stuff. I was number 16, 18, and like 22. And my last name is Wright. So I was one of the last kids, right? And I was never the biggest number. And I say this to say, if we had class sizes between 16 and 25 roughly, and there were two of each grade, this is roughly 30 to 50, it'll say 35 to 50 kids. And out of all, let's just put it in the middle, out of all 40 kids, all two classrooms of 20 plus kids, 2 of the 40 plus was black. It was the only niggas. And so we had to be friends. We was the only two who played basketball almost every single recess. And if we weren't playing basketball, we were running. And as kids, who was the coolest person? Whoever was the fastest, bruh. We was the two fastest niggas. And there was Zach Edmonds. That's funny. I'm over here telling T. It was me, James, and Zach. We was the only niggas that was fast, actually. And like everybody else was like roughly the same speed. Me and James burning everybody. And Zach. Me and Zach was the same speed in elementary school. Hey, Zach, I love you, dog. Still think of you as one of my bros, bruh. But after like 6th grade, we know what it was. But I was just actually really fast. I ran like a 4.6 when I was like a 16. So I was low-key abnormally fast. And anyways, back to the vodka, back to what I did this week, and back to my life now, currently. We're no longer worried about impressing girls by running fast. But me and the homie JP, I remember this was probably like our junior year. It might have been senior year, but I don't think we were seniors. Nah, we wasn't seniors for the fact that I was walking. My senior year, I always either had a ride or somebody's car or was in the car already. So I'm learning that I'm long-winded than a mug, bro, and that I be skipping through stories and stuff. But the point is, yesterday I was on set with New Amsterdam vodka. The first memory that comes to mind when I think of New Amsterdam vodka is the homie James Preston that I knew since we was 6 years old. Cause now we probably like, let's say that 18, 19. And he might be a year younger than me. It don't matter. Neither one of us was 21, right? So at the youngest, we was 17. At the oldest, I was 19. And this nigga was like, yo, I got the new 2K. You trying to hoop? I said, let's run it. He was like, we ain't gonna tell on him, but he was like, yo, my uncle, we'll grab us a bottle, you try and drink? I said, nigga, let's get it. And so yesterday on set, I was just reminded of the young me drinking New Amsterdam vodka and playing 2K. Like I knew, one, what I was doing with the liquor, and two, like I was actually good at 2K sober. Like it's a good thing we ain't put no money on it, because this nigga was already about to spank me. If we put bread on it, this nigga probably would have 21'd me in the second quarter. But yeah, good memories. And it's just funny seeing full circle like life moments. And honestly, I'm hoping that these niggas go ahead and just call me back again later on. You feel me? They gonna need more social media content. And so with that being said, I get it on set around 8 o'clock for New Amsterdam vodka. By 10 a.m., I'm confirmed that same day as the photographer for an artist live performance event. And while I'm sitting there, I get an email saying that someone wanted to cast me in a docu-series for Hulu, which is where I'm coming from now. So yesterday, I get on set to shoot with a liquor brand. And while I'm waiting, I confirm that I'm about to be the photographer for a photo shoot. I confirm a booking for a Hulu documentary. And I confirm an appearance on a popular social media platforms live stream. Dude has almost 300,000 followers. You feel me? It was like, bruh, I've done millions of views in his content previously. So now all in one day, I'm booked for a live stream with him. I'm on set. I booked something to be on set today. And I had a photo shoot last night. So last night after I was on set they were really good about it. I got there by, it was probably like 7:50, 8 o'clock. We'll say 8 o'clock. I got there by 8 o'clock and I left by 2. That's unheard of in the entertainment filming process and stuff, right? And then I went home, I laid down for about 3 hours, and then I got back up and I turned on the camera and I got on a live stream and had an argument. At the end of this argument, I hopped in the whip and drove to downtown LA, and I got to photograph a beautiful singer, both vocally and visibly. And then by the time I got home, I had an email that needed me to confirm I would be on set this morning at 8 a.m. While I was on set today, I got a message talking about, how do you feel about doing artist interviews tomorrow? I'm like, dog, slow down. I'm forgetting what day of the week it is. And also, while I was on the popular streamers, or I don't even say popular streamer, content creator, yeah, he's content creator. While I was on this popular content creator's live stream, I get a text message from an artist that I've worked with in the past asking about booking a recording session. I'm like, dang, dog, I'm already about to be on set tomorrow. So now I'm on set today. I'm shooting a photo shoot later today. I'm on this live stream right now. And then tomorrow I have a studio session and I have to be on set for something else. Fortunately, unfortunately, just because of how life shook out, the studio session is going to be on Saturday instead of today. And outside of that, let's see, I was on set yesterday. I did a photo shoot yesterday. I did a live stream yesterday. I booked a recording session that had a deposit, and that was all just yesterday. Four forms of income. And I made a trade yesterday, and I traded some stocks. That's 5 forms of income. And so this is something that everybody who lives a creative lifestyle needs to understand if they want to fulfill their financial obligations through their creativity. You got to do more than one thing until you can do just that one thing, right? There's a lot of time in my life, people have told me that I just got to do one thing and make that my main. And that's cool and all, but it has yet to have worked, bruh. Even when I just made my job, like, that's when I was the worst off, bro. For one, just mentally, I wasn't at peace, right? Second, the job atmosphere was bullshit, right? And then the fact that I wasn't creating made me not happy with myself. So it's like a perpetuating cycle of not really being satisfied. Because it's like I already wasn't financially fulfilled, which is why I got the job. But now I'm no longer financially fulfilled. Relationally, I don't like these people. And creatively, I'm hindering myself. What did I get the job for? Like, it didn't make me like life more or feel any better. It made life harder, right?
4.2 miles. Take a slight right turn.
Now, as a creative, I'll be honest. About 2 weeks ago, actually not even 2 weeks ago, last week, today is the 20th, right? So last week when it was like the 14th, the 11th, I was like, dang, dog, we 2 weeks into this month and I've only made like $200 so far, right? Yesterday, and between yesterday and today, let's see, Andy, 4, 11, wait, Andy, 4, I can't think right now, or Andy, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 2 days, about 2 days. Oh, I'm thinking 1,500, and in 2 days I made about $1,500. But I did a whole bunch of different stuff, but none of it was that hard for me, right? Whereas like I had to recite lines and be on camera for 5 different scripts yesterday. It took like 5 hours. That's not that hard for me. I like being on camera. I'm good at memorizing stuff, right? And so overall, I'm just realizing like I used to spend 80 hours. I would spend 80 hours to make $1,500, bruh. And then once I got the money, I didn't even want to do nothing. Not even because I was tired. I just didn't feel like it. Like I wasn't in a good disposition. And I was tired. Man, yes, I might be a little bit sleepy right now, but it took me 2 days to make the same thing that I would have made in 2 weeks. I can rest for the next 12 days and not feel bad about it. And so I'm not even trying to brag. Part of me is just now even putting this into like realization. And also a part of it is I booked all this shit in 2 days. Like what? And this is something that I've been praying for and talking about. Bamboo will grow 2 feet overnight. It's one of the longest it takes one of the longest amounts of times, but it's one of the quickest growing plants once the growing process starts. We stepping into bamboo season. So like I said, on Monday, and actually this goes even further back. So on Monday, I got an email about booking a job to work on Tuesday. Let me see, because yesterday was Thursday, so Wednesday. So on Monday, I got a message about booking a job to work on Wednesday, right? On Tuesday, I wake up and I confirm that I'm available, and I have another availability check that's supposed to be for Thursday and Friday. This is Tuesday. So I accept both of them, be on set on Wednesday and to be on set on Thursday and Friday, right? End up getting a text on Wednesday. Getting an email on Tuesday that says, all right, unfortunately, we're going to move you to Thursday. And I'm like, damn, you messing with my plan, bro. I was supposed to be on set on Thursday and Friday. So they ended up canceling me for both days. I'm like, fuck. So that's 500 plus dollars I'm not gonna see. I was a little salty. Thursday rolls around and I'm just thinking like, damn, man, I was supposed to be able to double dip today and just be able to make an extra 500 on top of what I'm making right now. That sucks. While I'm sitting there, I confirm that I'm about to get paid 150 again tonight, and I got confirmed that I was about to get paid for being in a Hulu series today. So it was like, if I had accepted those other bookings, I wouldn't have had my studio session booking, I wouldn't have had this Hulu casting, and I wouldn't have been able to do that photo shoot yesterday. So I was like, damn, bro, you was about to be salty about missing out on money, but you still got filled right back in on the money, right? And so overall, yesterday I woke up and I thought I was going to make $350. At the end of everything being said and done, between yesterday at 7 a.m. and right now, I made that 350 plus another 120 plus another 75 plus another 50 plus another 350. What the fuck? I can't really complain. I can't complain about nothing, man. I can't complain. Making the same amount of money that I used to work 2 weeks for in 2 days, I have nothing to complain about. I'm just grateful. And as I was leaving set today, I was talking to one of the other talents, and I just asked him, like, bruh, how many other people do you think submitted for this role? And they didn't audition us. There was no audition. They went strictly off of looking pictures, right? So it's like, how many pictures did they look at and decide that it was going to be us four, bruh? I'm going to say that they looked at least 1,000 people, because I look at it like this. It's a series on Hulu. Anybody who just seen the word Hulu is going to submit. And other castings that I've been a part of is like, if you see me, my face probably looks familiar if you've ever seen a Rise Mushroom Coffee ad. And I was a content creator for them, and I spoke with someone from the company, and she told me I was one of roughly 1,500 to 2,000 people who auditioned, and they hired less than 100 people, bruh. They only hired like 25 or 50 creators at one time out of that pool of 2,000 people that they auditioned. I said, bro, what the fuck? That's crazy. Because even if they picked, say they picked 100 people out of the 2,000 people that submitted, I'm not a mathematician, but I believe that's only 2%. You feel me? Is that even 2%? I think that's less. Look, let's chat GPT this. And I just got another message about a casting, bruh. And even yesterday, I keep forgetting I have another audition to do. So just between yesterday morning, I confirmed a photo shoot booking. I confirmed a studio time booking. I confirmed another set acting booking. I confirmed a live stream performance or appearance, all in one day, dog. I confirmed a studio session for next week, all in the last 24 hours. This is 5 things just in the last 24 hours. I have an audition that's due on what? Today is Friday, on Sunday. And then I just got a message right now about another audition that I gotta do. And so this right here is what we call momentum. We call momentum stacking. This is something that I've been working for for literally the last 5-6 years, bruh. And even longer than that, because I've been a professional actor since 2017, essentially. That's when I stepped into the world and said, you know what, this is my profession. But before that, I was doing short films and shit like that since 2015. 2015, dog. That's 10 years. That's 10 years of putting in time on a craft, right? Since 2016, I've been running Pro Tool sessions and working with artists and making music. That's literally 10 years, right? In 2018, I bought my first camera and started doing photos and taking photos. Fast forward to February 2026, and all within the same 48 hours, I'm booking recording sessions, I'm acting on set, and I'm taking photography for people and getting paid for all of it. You feel me? Like, stay down to the come up. I got this line in the song where I said, what was it? Damn. Stayed 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. You gotta stay 10 toes down until the car get rolling, until the vehicle take off. You feel me? It's like, I even redid that, bro. I said stay 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. So if anybody who knows me like closely like that and knew me when I was in Washington and stuff, when I moved to Washington, I was on the bus, bruh, and I had a car. I had a car note, I had car insurance, you feel me? And motherfuckers was treating me as if I wasn't even worth talking to because they saw me on the bus. Like, niggas was acting as if I wasn't even worth being a human being because I didn't have a car as far as they knew. I had just came from literally over 3,000 miles on the other side of the country, and I bought a plane ticket. I didn't plan on moving here. Life just seemed as if it would be better if I stayed, and they have public transit. I was in no rush to get my car. And also, actually, my license was suspended. That's another thing. Like, no one ever asked, do you have a car? Can you drive? Do you drive? Do you have a license? There was this girl that I was talking to, and her mom just said something, like, one day I was at her house, and her mom just said, oh, so you're finally gonna get a car? And I was like, huh? I have a car. She said, oh. And I was like, huh? And so the version of me then wasn't as versed in being aware. It was like, as soon as she said the thing, something in my head was like, is she trying to be insulting? And that's why I said, nah, I have a car. And then her response was also like, oh, sure you do. And I was like, I don't do stuff like this. It also was a white woman. So I was like, yeah, she could miss me with this. I ain't got time to prove myself to her. Especially, I ain't even like her daughter that much. And I can't say that. Her daughter was cool. I appreciated her energy, her efforts, and shit like that. I wasn't emotionally attached to her daughter at all. So it's like, bro, stop playing in my face, bro. It's like, you over here saying something about whether or not I have a car. Your daughter don't have a college degree. So what are we really doing here? She might have the finances to go get a car, but does she have the brain to create finances? And again, I'm not calling the girl stupid. I had no beef with her. But it's like, woman, I'm sitting here as a man who just graduated with a college degree like 3 months ago. Your daughter doesn't even have a degree. Who are you to judge someone? Like, eat my meat. Again, I didn't say none of this. I just looked at her daughter like,
Save 7 minutes via
and
Fairfax
the look she
Avenue.
gave me kind of confirmed. And I believe she's like, Mom, chill. And I'm like, all right, cool, bet. So she is being funny. And I'll say this again, it was a white woman and I'm a black dude. She probably just didn't like the fact that she knew her daughter was taking black meat. You feel me? And I ain't mad at her about it, but it also ain't had nothing to do with me. I ain't make your daughter like black guys. And I'm probably the best black guy that she's ever brought home. You feel me? I'm sure. I won't say I'm sure. That's not what I was saying. I'm thinking, I'm sure that you done met other niggas that she's been with. I know for a fact. You feel me? So it's like, and just from the things she told me, it's like, bruh, I'm just like, bruh, y'all need to chill. You feel me? But yeah, the line that inspired this whole train of thought: stay 4 toes till it turned to 10. Stay 4 toes. Stay 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. And so while I was out in Washington, one, my license was suspended, and they had public transportation. I was never planning on moving there. And when I got there, they had the bus. So I'm on the bus. I'm going back and forth from work on the bus. I'm going from Tacoma. What? Bro, if you're listening to me right now, understand that I cannot do this, nigga. You knocking off my train of thought, bruh. Like, you cannot text me in real time and tell me what to do while I'm on a stream, bruh, and expect me to continue talking. Look at what you're saying, and I understand you're trying to help right now. You're distracting me. Bye. and telling me to change my face, nigga. And this is what my face look like, bro. If I look bored, so fucking be it. Like, clearly I'm talking and I'm interested in what I'm saying, or I wouldn't be talking about it. Like, my face is my face. I'm not gonna change it. Damn, completely threw my train of thought. Stayed 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. When I got out to Washington, I didn't have a whip, and I still stayed out there, bruh. And I was on the bus for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. Literally, I would take a 2-hour bus ride one way just to go to an audition, or just to go to a casting call, or to meet with an agent or something, bruh. And so I'll take that 2-hour ride one way, have a 30-minute meeting or a 30-minute audition, and then take that same 2-hour ride back the other way. And I'm just like, damn it, dog. Like, and I did that shit and did that shit and did that shit until it paid off, right? And so while I was out there, I ended up getting my car shipped to me once I got my license back. And I thought about it, like, nigga, get your car, bruh. And so I got my car shipped to me, and the girl's mom was like, oh, you finally got a car. And I said, no, I finally shipped my car from Ohio. I've had a car, and I've been paying car notes and car insurance. Like, the whole time I was living in Seattle, I was already paying for a car and a car note, ma'am. I didn't even say ma'am. She was, oh, so you finally got a car? And I said, no, it's the same car I already had. I finally shipped it here. Oh, you feel me? I can't stand passive aggressive white people sometimes, dog. It's so annoying. And that's really all. It's just so annoying. And I say passive aggressive white people because black people aren't passive aggressive as much, or in the same sense. Like, if a black person has a problem or doesn't like you, you're gonna know it way sooner, because the tone that they use is gonna say fuck you, or I don't fuck with you, off rip. There's not going to be any ambiguity of, oh, I don't know, or I can't tell. No, nigga, if I don't like you, you're going to know that I'd rather not talk to you. And I'm not even going to say, you know, I don't like you, or I don't like you, or that I would rather not talk to you. Just everything in the energy of the interaction is going to be uncomfortable if I don't fucking like you. Like, it's going to be obvious to the other people in the room as well, because I'm not going to pay you any attention. I'm not going to talk to you nicely. I'm not, you feel me? And so it's like, it just kills me with white people, because they'll just say snotty, crude remarks and expect you to keep it going, or like keep playing nice. Where it's like, no, bruh, what you just said was actually rude as fuck. It was like, all right, so now what? So I had this dude tell me that I needed to just chill in more situations and allow things to unfold without giving any response or changing my demeanor about it or towards the person. I said, so you want me to swallow my reactions, my emotions, and my responses in order to keep the status quo that wasn't suiting me or benefiting me? Fuck no. Like, what do I care if the dynamic changes between me and someone who doesn't have my best interest at heart? Like, at no point in time did this person ever do anything to better my life or make it seem like they cared about my life. So why should I be worried about keeping the peace? I'm not going to go out of my way to be mean or rude, but I'm also not going to go out of my way to be friendly and nice. Like, yeah, so that's when I realized like there's just a disconnect between the way a lot of black people show up and white people show up when it comes to dealing with situations that aren't suiting them. You feel me? Whereas like he was telling me that I should not say anything or just be quiet, which again I think is just uncomfortable for me because it was a white guy telling me to swallow my emotions and to swallow how I felt and thought because he felt as if it would fit the situation better. Yet there was never any account for how I felt or what would work best in my behavior or interest or life. And so I'm like, yeah, of course, as a white guy, you're telling me what will be most palatable for you
At the next stop sign,
without even considering how I feel. And so, yeah, again, I feel as if white people take the pass in passive aggressive behavior. I could be wrong. I could be being racist.
Turn left
I'm prejudiced. I guess that's a prejudice instead of a racist. But I don't really give a fuck. I got plenty of white friends. I cracked myself the fuck up. All right, are you staying? All right. My nigga. And then again, back to the stay 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. I done had to do that shit twice, right? So while I was in Washington, I ain't have my whip out there and I didn't have a license. So even if I did have my whip, I shouldn't have been driving it, right? I still spent, what, a cool year before I picked up any real traction out there trying to get it. You feel me? Like I said, I was taking bus rides for an hour and a half, 2 hours, one direction, just to turn around and take the same trip back, just to go take an audition. And then once I hit my wave, nigga, I went full-time actor, bruh. I was booked in 5 different productions by like January, February, March, April. Around April or May, I ended up booking the rest of that year. You feel me? And then I got my car shipped out to me. And niggas is like, oh, wow, you finally got a car. No, bitch, I've been had a car. It just wasn't in front of you. And I told you I had a car. You looked at me like I was lying. And I'm like, why do people put such an emphasis on having a car or not? Because, like, I got my first car when I was 16. Nope, I'm lying. I'm lying like a motherfucker. Well, technically, I did get my first car when I was 16. My mom told me I could have it when I got my license, right? I ended up getting my license when I was 18, and that's when I got my first car handed to me. I bought my second car when I was still in college. Like, I was a college freshman who went to the dealership and bought a car. I don't know none of the niggas that I was in school with who was pulling up on dealerships and buying cars, bro. Not while they were still in school. You feel me? And I did what, nigga? I had 3 jobs. I had 3 jobs my senior year at college, and I trapped. You feel me? So really, I have 4 jobs, bro. And then Els got taken, moved out of state, didn't have a whip, had to put in hella work, got the whip out there. Niggas looking in my face like, oh, he finally did it. He made it. No, nigga. I been had this. And so this past year, all of 2025, I didn't drive. And I didn't really think about the perception of other people around me because I could have went and bought a car. Like literally at the beginning of 2025, I got approved for an $80,000 car loan. I said, damn. One, I wasn't expecting that, first off, is I've never applied just for a loan to see what amount I would get approved for. Anytime I applied for a car or for a car loan, I knew exactly what car I already wanted, right? So once I seen that amount, I was like, all right, bet. But if I go buy even a $50,000 car, we looking at what, like 5 to 7 years worth of time? Divide that number by those amount of years, and what's your monthly? I'm not going to be one of these people who pay 500, 800, 900. No, bro, a month for a car note. I'm not doing it. I refuse. So I was like, all right, bet. We're not about to go out and buy a brand new Merc. It's not necessary, right? And then I was like, I didn't have a job. I worked from home all of last year. So I was like, where are you even going? Why are you getting a car and an extra expense when you don't even have anywhere that you have to be regularly? Nigga, I'll take Ubers. And so all of last year I took Ubers. I was Mr. Uber and Lyft. And then towards the end of the year, I started taking Waymos. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed that shit, bruh. Like right now, I've been sitting in traffic for about 30 minutes, bruh. This not fun. You know how much money I done spent on gas just this month? Just yesterday, I was getting gas. I had to get gas again today. I spent $100 on gas in 2 days, nigga. Like, so again, I say this to say, stay 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. Last year, my car got stolen. My car got stolen. My camera equipment got stolen. My lighting equipment got stolen. And the month before, I separated from my job. I don't want to say I lost my job because I made the calculated decision to never go back. So technically, it was counted as I quit my job. When really, I was being mistreated at my job. And this is not just by my own opinion. I worked with an 82-year-old Jewish woman or white lady who was raised by Jewish people who told me that she should lock me in a cage. Or she would joke about locking me up in the back closet at nighttime. She told me that she was going to beat me. She said, it's fine, just get it right next time, or we'll have to beat you. What? One day, this woman said, do I have to go get the whip? And that's when I finally was like, all right, look, bro, you can't be saying shit like this. And she said, huh? What? You feel me? And so after I finally was like, you know what? I'm good. My account's cakey right now. I don't need this shit. I didn't say none of that. One day I just looked at her and I said, yo, bro, you got to stop talking to people crazy. And for the amount of work and jobs that you ask me to do, you should give me more pay. So the job that I did encapsulated at least 50% of this job that the other girl who worked with me did. She was getting paid over $30 an hour. Well, I was getting paid like not even 25. And so it's fine to pay other people more and differently when the job description and workload is different. This girl would literally go out of town for a month and I would be responsible for 85% of what her job had entailed. Nigga, are you for real? And so once I called her out on it, she just tried to pressure me into saying I quit. And I just got tired of taking steps. So right now you're telling me, after I told you that the workload that you're giving me is unfair and the amount of pay that you're giving me for it isn't like fair either, you're saying that I either do the job that you're telling me to do as you said it or quit. There's no other options. As an employee, I'm coming to you complaining about the work conditions that you've created and the workload and the expectations that you've given me that are exceeding my original job description. And I pulled out my job description and ran through it. And it's like, this was the job description when I got hired. This is what my role has evolved into over time. And it's been that way. I'll take responsibility because I never told you no. And I didn't give any pushback and let you know that this shouldn't be expected. So yes, this has become my job through expectations. This was never my job description or what I got hired for. Therefore, you're going to either have to change what you expect from me change the job description and increase my pay. Like I said, it's an 82-year-old white lady. She ain't fuck with that. She said, nigga, you gonna do what I told you to do or you're gonna quit. And so legally, you can't do that. And so I'm not saying I was mistreated of my own volition. I'm saying this woman was in there breaking the law. I had a nigga going to work, you feel me, and not having any clock in, clock out. There was no formal break system. There was no formal break tracking. There was no formal hours tracking. Look, when I first got hired, on my pay stubs, I was accumulating PTO, paid time off, and vacation hours. I looked at my pay stubs about 6 months after I had been employed, 8 months after I had been employed. My paid time off was gone. My vacation hours were gone. Is it because those were things she offered to white employees and not black employees? Bro, got me fucked up. And so, like I was saying, last year, after I finally decided that I wasn't taking this little lady's bullshit no more, that next month, my car got stolen. My photography and lighting and videography equipment got stolen. So now I have no car, no job, and half of my business is gone as well. With not having a car, I wasn't able to get to my studio. So I had to give up my lease. So now the second half of my business is also gone. I don't have a recording studio location outside of my bedroom. I don't have my lighting equipment, and I don't even own a camera outside of my iPhone anymore. They got me for all my camera gear. 2 different Canons and a Sony. Bro, I'm crying thinking about it. I forgot I had 2 Canons. I remembered that the Sony and my main Canon got stolen because those were the 2 cameras I was most focused on, the one I was actually using and the one I was excited to break in, which was the Sony. I forgot that I had another Canon. Anyways, damn it, boy. That shit hurt, bruh. And so shortly after, well, actually before it all even happened, I had already just been, grinding, saving, and stacking, bruh. By the time this lady was saying this shit to me, it don't even matter how much I had in the bank, bruh. I had over 20K ready. You feel me? It's like, and that's another thing, is I don't even want to do this. Like, I feel as if part of the reason I'm even thinking about this shit is because I pay attention to the way that people treat people and how they interpret shit, right? Whereas, like, if you're not living your life by the standard that they think you should be living up to, you're not worth it, right? So I'm sitting here with over 20K. I could go get a new apartment. I could go get a new car. I could go get a new studio space. What did I choose to do? Nothing. Literally nothing. For like a cool month, I didn't do shit. Like, between November and January, like 30th, I barely did anything. I watched hella anime. I smoked copious amounts of weed. And that was really it. I went to the DMV to visit the woman I was seeing at the time. And that's literally all I did. That's it. Niggas had me fucked up. The year before, I went through trauma-inducing situationship, a miscarriage. Like, a young nigga was tired, bruh. A young nigga was tired. So at the end of the year, once my car got stolen, I was over it. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't even remember, bruh. So much shit happened, I don't even remember. All I know is a young nigga was tired. So I spent a month and a half, 2 months doing nothing. Just laying around, being lazy, bro. And during this time, I don't know what the fuck was going on in people's heads. But like, it's just mad interesting, bro. It's just mad interesting. And so my point in bringing up that last thing is just like, what people expect your life to look at and expect for you to be doing doesn't always fucking matter. You feel me? People was looking at me like I was stupid, like I was crazy, like I was dumb, like I didn't know what was going on. You feel me? And it's like, bro, I'm choosing to do something different other than work a 9 to 5. And I could go buy pretty much any car I want. Like, literally I could have bought any car I wanted. Could I have afforded it long term? If I went and bought a 2026 and that shit was $500 a month, I would have been dwindling money fast for no reason, right? So that's another reason why I'm like, bro, just because you see what somebody's current state is doesn't mean you know what the actuality could be. You feel me? It's like even 3 months ago, I was sitting there contemplating, do I go get my own apartment? Do I go buy a new car? Do I keep Ubering the way that I have been? Like, what is the best move, right? And so with this, I just want to tell people, don't let others' perception of what you're doing alter your plans and your route. Make a plan and action that best suits your goals, your wants, and your needs, and stick to that, regardless of what people think and regardless of what people say, right? If I was worried about the perception that people were, you feel me, breaking apart and dissecting to figure out how to handle and treat me, I would have been doing shit that I didn't even want to do just to prove a point. And I don't function like that, bro. It's like, I wholeheartedly enjoyed just taking Ubers for a year, and it just kept me focused. Whereas, like, do I really feel like spending $60 one way and $60 the other way to go to an event that I'm not getting anything from? Like, nobody's paying me to be there. There's no collaboration happening. Like, I'm literally taking my time to go sit in a space and hold space for people who don't care about me and aren't trying to pour back into me at all. Like, it's one thing to not get to someone, but like, it's another thing to actively go out of your way to be in the room full of people who can do nothing for you. And that's really what last year was teaching me. Is like, bro, because when I first got out here, I was like, all right, photographer, studio time, actor, you need to meet more people. You need to meet people. You need to tell people that you're here. You need to tell people that you do this, and you do this. So I used to bust my brain to make it to these events and functions just so I could be in the room with other people who might need some services, bro, who might want to book me or hire me. And that shit got old fast. I guess it didn't get old too fast. I did the same thing for 2 or 3 years. And so when I look back at it and I realized like my car got stolen and like all my equipment and shit got stolen, it wasn't for a bad reason, for real. It was because I was moving too fast and not taking time for myself to center myself. I wasn't paying attention to how I felt. I wasn't eating normally. I wasn't sleeping regularly. Like, I was literally every day just trying to figure out how could I get around more people in order to try and build something with them or build a relationship or build a rapport. When once I started kicking it by myself more, I was like, oh, there's so many aspects of you that you could be working on. There's so many aspects of yourself that you could be building. And like, I make music all the time. At this point in time, I was still making music all the time, but there was no through line. There was no branding. There was no plot. There was no plan. How does this work together? How do I promote it? No, I was just making songs. Once I went and sat down, I thought about shit and I was like, all right, I'm gonna group this together like that. I'm gonna roll these out like this. I'm gonna put this together like this. Like, how does the things that I'm making now even fit into the music that I've already released? Like, I've already started building a brand. What are we, you feel me? And so it's like, once I stopped worrying about getting outside and being around people, I was able to more fully look at who I was and what I had going on as both a creative and as just a person, and say what works best for me. All right, bet. One, you need to get back in the gym, young nigga. Two, before you even get back in the gym, you need to address your nervous system. Your nervous system is broken, bro. You are tense as fuck almost all the time. Why? This is not okay. Like, you feel me? Even now, I'm still adjusting my sleep schedule. Like, after, I'm not gonna say, whatever. I drink a lot sometimes. And saying sometimes is low-key an understatement. But part of the reason I would be drinking is because I was avoiding sitting with some of these deeper emotions and realizing, nigga, you're sad, right? Instead of realizing I was sad or realizing I was upset or my feelings was hurt or I felt some type of way about the whip being taken or something, I would just get drunk.
1 mile. Turn left onto South La Cienega Boulevard.
You can't get drunk. I mean, you can't get sad when you can't feel. You feel me? Numb feelings is where I was living at. And so after having all my shit taken and being able to sit by myself, I had to face the fact of what it was I was actually feeling. The most ideal way to get to it, probably not. But did it have its advantages? I think so. And I guess this is still kind of long-winded. Is stay 10 toes till it turns to 4 wheels. Right now we in the car again. And so I lost my job. I left my job, however you want to say it. And then after that, I ain't had no income. I still had to pay rent. I still had to pay cell phone. I still had to pay. Actually, I didn't have no credit cards at the time. Did I have any credit cards? It don't matter. I still had bills and shit to pay, right? And I didn't have a job. And yes, I had some money in the bank, but shit, that dwindled fast, especially when you don't have no hope of other money and you drinking every day. And a bottle here, a bottle there. You feel me? Buying food, Uber, DoorDash, shit like that. Uber alone eat your money up. And so I had to get back on the wheel. What did I end up doing? I didn't go get another 9-to-5 job. I didn't have a car to get back and forth from it, and I was not trying to ride the bus. What did I do? I doubled down, nigga. I doubled down on my creating. I doubled down on my UGC shit. I no longer had a camera to film my UGC shit, so I had to be more attentive with using my phone. And these niggas got half my lighting equipment, so I only had one light, no camera. And I grinded that shit out for 2-3 months. UGC shit, stack the bread. And then I was like, all right, let me go buy one camera. Went and bought one camera, got back to the hustle. Started doing photo shoots for $75, bruh. It wasn't full photo shoots. We was doing mini sessions. Mini photo shoot sessions, $75, right? Hop back in the loop. While I was still doing all of this, bruh, I had the idea of starting a jewelry line already. And I had started doing it the year before, but I hadn't completed my website. I had only made sales in person. Now I got all this time at home. Let me go ahead and set up my Facebook store. Let me go ahead and set up my TikTok store. Let me go ahead and rebuild my website. That was another thing. In the beginning of 2025, I was like, all right, bro, let's revamp your photography website and make it look more exclusive. Make it look more high end, right? So it's like, without having a car and having the ease of just getting up and going, it made me sit down and think, okay, what's going to be more beneficial to my future, to my brand, and to my life? If I would have had a car, me not having a job would have caused me to be outside trying to chase down more opportunities and more people to work with and trying to force something to happen or force something to shake. When in actuality, all I had to do was sit my ass down and realize where I was, who I was, and what I had. So during this time of no whip, no job, I began diving into my emotional intelligence training, right? I began taking classes, right? I did online mentorships, right? I talked to a therapist for a second. I'm not gonna lie, we only made it like 4 sessions. And not because of any reason other than I didn't have a job anymore. And it was an expense that I thought I could do without, for the simple fact that everything we talked about, she literally just corroborated the shit that I already said, because I've already been to therapy before. And again, it wasn't for any reason other than I wanted to understand what was going on in my own head. I was in a relationship that I wanted, and for some reason we weren't seeing eye to eye. This is before I realized that women just be lying and playing games. Like, and I'm not saying all women be lying and playing games. And part of when I say they be lying is like, there were things that I thought were clear and evident that she just didn't want to address at the time, or she didn't want to admit to, right? Or that she didn't want to admit I was right about, right? And so as a young nigga, I'm like, something's wrong. You feel me? Like, there's a disconnect between what's actually going on, what's coming out of my mouth, and what you're regurgitating and interpreting it as. And it got me to the point of thinking something was wrong with me. Like, all right, maybe you the one tripping, nigga. And so I suggested that we go to couples counseling and therapy. And this bitch said, I don't want to have to deal with you and all your problems and have somebody tell me that it's okay for you to be irrational. I said, that was a fucking mouthful, but fine, fair enough. I would never try and get you to be, you feel me, cordial and relationally minded again, right? I still wanted to understand why I thought the way that I did and why I felt the way that I did and how I could still even be interested in being with somebody who told me some bullshit like that, right? And so I still went to therapy. I went to counseling, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I went and talked to a therapist. They did couples counseling, and it was a therapist who did it, right? I saw it. I went and saw my nigga. We talked. We talked a lot. And through our talking, I realized that I already had a decent level of understanding. Is just in my understanding, I wasn't connecting it to my own emotion. And that's why I was really getting confused, because I would separate my logic from my emotion. And sometimes my emotion would be informing what was logical. And I wouldn't let the two. I would just go based off of logically what I thought should or could, not what are your emotions telling you. You feel me? Sometimes it'd be like, yo, that was disrespectful as fuck. Like, but logically, the relationship denotes that you wouldn't disrespect me like that or try to belittle me. So instead of getting upset, I'm going to try and get to the heart of the matter. When sometimes the heart of the matter is, you got me fucked up. Like, sometimes it's as simple as that. Even if the you got me fucked up is just because I don't like something, it's like emotionally, I wasn't mature enough to accept that that was the end all be all. Logically, I always needed more. I needed to understand why did it go this way, or what could have went different, if anything, to avoid that outcome. And I wasn't even always trying to change the outcome. I was just trying to understand it. That's just who I am as a person. I always seek understanding first, emotionality second. And sometimes my emotions will be higher than the logic, so I just don't think about it until I can logically process it. Like, I'll literally not feel my emotions until I can logically process it sometimes. And that's what really I learned from going to therapy and counseling. But like I was saying, at this time, once my car got stolen, once my photography equipment got stolen, my lights got stolen, and I lost my lease on my studio, nigga, I was at the crib. And I decided to double down. And one, talk to a counselor again. Two, get into emotional intelligence and start my trajectory as a life coach. So anyone who's seen me has personally witnessed a young nigga go from no car, no job, girl left him, had a miscarriage, drunk 5 days a week, like gassed out my mind every single day. Like, people have witnessed that full force up close and in person. And within the same breath, they've seen me, one, chase my dreams, fulfill my goals, exceed people's expectations, replace all my camera equipment. Instead of one studio location now, I work out of 3 studio locations. And instead of paying $300, $500, whatever, and instead of having 1 studio location, now I work out of 3 studio locations. And instead of paying a monthly lease on all of them, I have something way better. You feel me? So it's like, stay 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. Once my car and all my equipment got stolen, I could have said, damn, bro, I don't even want to be a photographer no more. I don't even want to shoot media no more. No, I said, this sucks. I still have a camera and I still have an opportunity to make money doing video work. And technically I'm acting. Bet. And so once I started working on user generated content with brands, I just started reaching out to more brands, bro. Like, if I could do it with this brand, I could do it with other brands. Next thing you know, bro, I got 3 different casting departments hitting me up to do UGC work, bro. I'm like, bet. And then I'm like, yo, all right, so we could go from being a professional actor to trying to pivot to being a content creator for user generated content. Let's do it. And while we do it, let's build a class for it. Let's build a whole rollout and show people, one, exactly how I did it. First, I already had photos. That's literally the only thing I had. I had photos. But outside of that, everything else was incepted last year. I just got an email today from a company asking if I'd like to join their representation. You feel me? And so stay 10 toes till it turned to 4 wheels. That's all I'm trying to express to y'all. I done did it multiple times in my life. I stayed 10 toes motherfucking down until it turned to 4 wheels, bro. I walked. I trekked up and down the streets in Washington. Up and down, nigga. Do you know what it's like to ride from downtown Seattle to Tacoma at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning? Niggas leaving shows after 10, 11 o'clock, having to walk past junkies, nigga. Niggas with needles in their arm, dog. Like, homeless people, and nothing against the homeless people, and nothing against the junkies, but walking in alleys and shit late at night, and not because it's of like a choice that you just wanted to be outside, dog. I'm one, leaving performances and opportunities to get money, and 2, trying to get better opportunities. You feel me? Like, I'm currently acting, right? I'm leaving set, or I'm going to an audition or something, and I'm trying to leave the audition. The audition is so I can make money. You feel me? And so it's like, having to walk past shit like that is just very interesting. And I don't know anybody personally who's done the same trajectory out of choice and stayed down doing it. You feel me? My mom told me to come back to Ohio. I'll send you a ticket. You feel me? I have a brother who's a millionaire, who told me before he was even 500,000 heir that I should join him in the endeavors he was partaking in, and that I should move to another state. And I said, man, I don't know. And then this nigga said, how long you gonna stay broke for? You must like being broke, nigga. And I said, huh? He said, you gonna keep doing that dumb shit? Clearly it's not working. I said, hold up. Who the fuck are you talking to? You might be my older brother, but nigga, don't talk to me. Don't talk down to me, bruh. You can ask me that same question without the tone being so disrespectful. It's like, you over here saying dumb shit, like the things that I'm choosing to do don't make sense. They don't make money as fast or quickly as you think I should. That don't mean you gotta belittle the things that I do. You could say, how long are you planning on doing that and not making more money? Not, oh, nigga, you must like being broke. First off, hi. Like, I don't know. It is really, I just don't like people saying certain shit to me. You're not gonna try and downplay me, bruh. Even if you think the shit that I'm doing is not worth it, do not disrespect it. You can say, I don't think that's smart. You can say, I don't understand why you do that. You can say, I think you could do something better. And I understand part of the reason why he was saying what he was saying is because he thought that I was capable of doing something that gave me more income. I didn't disagree with that idea. Nigga, I know that I could definitely use my intellect for something that people deem more important than acting. But at the same time, how many people's lives have changed because of a movie, because of a film, because of something one of their favorite actors has ever said, right? So it's like, yes, I could possibly use my brain to be a motherfucking surgeon if that was the goal that I had for myself. But as a young nigga, I could already foresee the fact that I could learn that. I could understand the information, and I had an interest in health since I was like 4. And so as a 19-year-old, I said, okay, sure, you could make yourself understand it and do it all, but will you enjoy it? And that is how I based what I do with my life. Not because I want my life to purely be about enjoyment. I believe there's more things that are important than just enjoying the status quo around you. You can make differences in people's lives without enjoying the tasks that help you make the difference. And if you enjoy helping people and making a difference in their lives, then it's going to be fine. You feel me? But for me, it was like I would need to choose something that not only keeps my interest, but keeps me feeling happy. And not just feeling happy, but feeling invested and feeling like the things that I do not only matter, but feed me as well. Because just having knowledge and just having money, they don't do shit for me, bro. It's like I said, I literally was sitting there with 20 bands and I didn't care. I could have went and bought a brand new car. I didn't care. You feel me? Like, you can have all the money in the world. If you're not all right within, it doesn't matter. And so nothing that I do in my life anymore is purely after the pursuit of anything. Like, most of the things that I do have an end goal, but the end goal isn't in pursuit of one definitive, definite ending, other than do it well. That's the only rule that I have with everything that I do. Do it as if you were doing it unto God, which means do your best at everything that you do and be kind. As long as the interactions that I have share the love of God through them. And when I say the love of God through them, it's a certain level of care, is a certain level of attention, is a certain level of precision that I try to function and move with at all times. A certain level of integrity that I try to function and move with at all times. Am I human? Yeah. Do I fall short? Of course. Do I get pissed? Yes. Do I get upset? Yes. Which is why usually if I start to get upset or pissed, you're gonna see me breathe. You probably see me make a couple faces because it's me shutting my mouth. Most of the time when I'm annoyed, irritated, agitated, or upset, I shut the fuck up because I understand that words are powerful and words are powerful and words hold impact. And sometimes you can't take those words back. The Bible says the power of life and death are in the tongue. So you can literally condemn somebody. And when I say condemn, I'm not saying you're sending them, but through the words that you say, the words that you choose to use, you are either blessing or cursing at all times. You're either sending out blessings or you're sending out curses. Anytime you speak negatively about somebody, you're sending out curses. Anytime you try to make someone feel the way that you feel, and it's because you don't like the feeling that you have, so you try to put that on somebody else, that's a curse, bro. That's negative. Like, I don't play with none of that shit, bro. So it's like, I just can't. I don't know. It's something I've never cared for, ever. I've always been the type of person that tried to be as fair as possible. And it's like, who made you to judge? Nigga, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius. I don't know. They call us the water bearer, which means we're carrying the water, which means we have to carry the balance. I don't fucking know. I guess the scale is the Libra, equal scales. And I guess that's another thing why Libras and Aquarius are both air signs and they get along. They're compatible. They're able to see things from both sides. And that's something I've always been able to see things from more than just one side. Or at least I try to always see things from more than just one side. Honestly, I think I do a pretty decent job. I won't say a great job. Of course, sometimes I only see things from my perspective, but that's before I stop and try to look at it from someone else's perspective. But that's something I pride myself on doing and trying to do, is look at stuff from other people's perspective before I just push back and tell them no or that they're wrong. Like, that's something that's one of my pet peeves. Is like, before you think about it, don't tell me that what I'm saying is wrong or it doesn't make sense, or you feel me? It's like, unless you're able to take your main concern out of focus for a second, I don't really care about it. And it's not because I don't care, but it's like, of course, everyone is right and justified to themselves. You feel me? Everyone is able to justify themselves in what they're doing and why they did it. At the time of, Judas was justifying himself and why he was outing the Messiah. You feel me? Or it's like, their only justification for that is that it was already written. And sometimes the only justification for any action is that it's already happened. There is no justification. So sometimes the response is justified by the initial reaction or the initial action. You feel me? And that's something I feel like a lot of people don't want to accept or stomach. Is like, a lot of the time, the way that someone is treating you or interacting with you is due to a previous action that you took. And this is the pet peeve of mine, when people try to operate out of a space of, I don't understand why they would behave like that with me, or I don't understand why they would say this about me or talk to me that way. It's like, dog, before you say that they're out of pocket or wrong for what they did, why don't you ask yourself, what did I do, or what could I possibly have done to make them respond to me this way? And for me personally, I believe that you'd get better outcomes in your life and between the relationships with you and people if you had those types of conversations with yourself. And if you couldn't come to any type of conclusion of why, you have that conversation with that person or with somebody else. Eek.